Hello, everyone. My name is Samantha Ferreira. I'm a social work major, and the event that I chose today was In Search of Our Black Queer Ancestors, a conversation between historian journalist Channing Gerard Joseph and Susan Stryker. So, about this event, I chose this event because I wanted to expand my knowledge of the LGBT and African American community. It was also Black History Month when I was looking at it and everything, so I decided that it would be a good way to celebrate this month. And I also thought it would be a nice way to help me address other issues going on in the world that involve the LGBT community and as well as the African American community. So the population really focuses on the lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, etc., and the African American community. The event was on Friday, February 4th of this year, and it was at 556 here. It was through Zoom, and if anybody want to take a look, the link is right there. So this event the way it affected me was that their identities was very different than mine. I am heterosexual and my ethnicity is Hispanic, so it's a little bit different. Some thoughts I had was that I wasn't going to fit in or I was going to look different from everybody else. And I was really concerned about how the whole Zoom meeting was going to work because there was a lot of people that were joining in. Some feelings I had were excitement for the event. I was nervous as well as hesitant. And I was ready to learn about this community. And I also expected everyone to be welcoming because the world we live in right now, very welcoming. A description of this event would be the work of Channing Gerard Joseph is an effort to recover and reclaim the histories and cultural contributions of the queer Black Americans, particularly the queer community and around William Dorsey Swann. And he was a formerly enslaved Black man who was the first documented drag queen. Joseph's research also explores the lives of Mary Jones, Peter Swilly, Francis Thompson, and other Black queer figures in the 19th century. So my event experiences was I was really comfortable and I didn't feel out. Like I said in the beginning, we only saw the two guest speakers, so it was really nice. I was excited to hear and learn all this new information, and I was relieved at how easy this whole process was to get into the Zoom and everything. I thought that they had made the environment very nice and easygoing, very calm and welcoming. They made jokes and were very thoughtful but professional at the same time. I have learned in this event that homophobia appears in the community's literature, arts, and the culture. And another thing is, in an effort to combat the ritualized homophobia, the queer Black identity sometimes struggles and sometimes succeeds in having its voice heard. William Dorsey Swann had a huge impact on many lives. He guided a group of people together, and by doing so, he created public performances that would be raided by police in the future. Swann was the first drag queen in the world documented. They had houses where they had drag shows, and they were led by mothers. And these drag shows were based on dances and beauty contests and such things like that. They had a cakewalk, and essentially it was a walking dance. It was similar to voguing or the Soul Train. Some struggles for Swann and many others is they faced many beatings and losing jobs and losing friends and just sad things like that. The houses these individuals had sometimes were charged with a crime called keeping a disorderly house, which really meant that they thought they were running a house of prostitution, but in reality they weren't. A continuous of what I've learned was people looked up to Swan because he was fighting for what he represented, which was Black queers' rights, and he fought for their freedom of expression. And a little more about the cakewalk was it was just designed to be able to ridicule their masters, because in that time slavery was still a big issue. So this was them be able to ridicule their masters without having any consequences. The masters didn't know that the drag queens were making fun of them, how they dance essentially. So they just thought they were having fun, and so they judged who was the best, and then whoever was the best, they gave them a cake, and that's why it was called the cakewalk. It was also celebrated in Paris, France, and around 1934, many people in the community started saying in the newspapers that the LGBTQ, well, the drag queen group, were getting out of control, and they even went as far as saying that they were abominations. Today, many of these people are highly viewed and are on television, the news, podcasts, and stuff like that. Some insights I have gained would be how Black queer ancestors paved the way for modern LGBTQ movements now. Pronouns are very important, and it helps people become accurately portrayed as who they want to be. Some strengths identified for the population is how strong and motivated they are. They do not give up for what they believe in. There are many terms to describe this community in modern day than there was decades ago. So like, for example, back in the day, they used to call Black queer people pansies, or just queer people, they used to call them pansies. But right now, that's not, like, we can't really say that. So like, we would have to say LGBT community, or yeah. Many people can lack a sense of solidarity, which is like an awareness of shared interests, objective standards, and sympathies. Some policies that have impacted this community would be a policy that has would be the non-discriminatory policy for the healthcare needs of the LGBT populations, and it should put the need to not discriminate based on the race, age, religion, disability, marital status, sexual orientation, sex, or gender identity. In the meeting that they were talking about how it was very hard for people to change their sexual orientation because the white people didn't think they were allowed to do that. Another policy would be preventing anti-transgender violence policy, and it would essentially educate the general public, the legislators, and members of the law enforcement using verified data related to the hate crimes against transgender individuals. And it would highlight the disproportionate number of the Black transgender women who has succumbed to the violent death. And it would also advocate for stronger law enforcement policies regarding interactions with transgender individuals to prevent bias and mistreatment and increase community trust within the world. So my implications would be, some thoughts I had after the event is just to live your life to the best of your ability and embrace yourself always. Don't be afraid, because I mean, it's you. It's challenging trying to find out your identity and your place in each of your communities, because you always feel alone, or you may not feel that they will accept you, or in those cases. It's important for them. Sorry, I had a era right here. It's important to avoid romanticizing a history that is already ripe with heroines and achievers, and to address the complexity and the ambiguity of the past. Rather than simply celebrate inventors, the month should explore the defeats as well as the disappointments, using history to educate future generations that change does not come without struggle and sacrifice. And that really does alone individual, no matter how successful, change society without community support. So in this case, like, we need to be talking about the bad things as well, because it can help realize what the ancestors went through, and like how like they don't want their kids going through the same thing. Some feelings I had were, I found a new interest in the Black queer community. Um, they're very motivated, and they made me feel very motivated and engaged because of the struggle they had to go through, and it's inspiring. Some social work support to the population could be to build our knowledge, such as like attending training or reading journals or articles, or speaking to individuals going through or in the LGBTQ community. Another powerful way would be to dive in social change and advocate for action in the legislative level. This would be a new this would be a great scope for new legislation and policies around insurance, property rights, youth services, health and mental health services, and such as those things. Or even writing letters, making formal statements, and joining work groups all over the community, and just try to get other people involved as well. My experience overall, oh, sorry. My experience overall was this event has helped me shape my future works, because it showed me that social change benefits not only the individual, but also the families and the community. So it's not only going to change that person, but their friends and the people around them. It helped me get an understanding of the differences of the people that could use the help of social workers. So there's even more people out there that need our help. By understanding people's cultures difference, I can help them overcome obstacles and encourage them to pursue the services they need. To be a change agent, I would have to have a good attitude, good knowledge, and good skills to help me. And building a trusting relationship with these groups would be number one, and getting involved in politics as well, and try to make a bigger impact in this community. So that is all. Thank you.